This is an instructional video for Mr. Langford's lab class. We're going to be demonstrating a specimen of a dissected sheep brain and a dissected sheep eyeball. Participating in the video, we have Vicki Frankins,
Shelby Lawyer,
Casey McCollum, Jennifer Cooper.
and we're going to be starting with the eye. The outer portion right here is the cornea. Around that is the sclera. It's a hard part that we had to cut through to dissect it. We open it up. The blue tint is the retina, or is the choroid. The white part coming off of it is the retina. We have one nerve in the back of it, and it's the optic nerve. That's the only one we can see. This right here we had to pop out, but it's the lens, or the eyeball. You pull the front portion out, and it's the anterior chamber of the anterior segment. Everything behind the lens is a posterior segment, and it's filled with the vitreous humor. It's like a jelly. The cranial nerves are part of the peripheral nervous system and not part of the brain proper, but they are most appropriately identified while studying brain anatomy. The 12 pairs of cranial nerves primarily serve the head and neck. Only one pair, the vagus nerve, extends into the thoracic and abdominal cavities. All but the first two pairs, the olfactory and the optic nerve, arise from the brainstem and pass through the foramina in the base of the skull to reach their destination. The cranial nerves are numbered consecutively, and in most cases their names reflect their major structures they control. The cranial nerves are described by name, Roman numerals, origin, course, and function. This information should be committed to memory. A mnemonic device that might be helpful for remembering the cranial nerves in order is, on occasion our trusty truck acts funny, very good, vehicle anyhow. First letter of each word and the A and H in the final word anyhow will remind you that the first letter of the cranial nerve name.
I will be showing you the external structures of the sheep brain. This line here is the central sulcus. It separates the precentral gyrus, which is on the frontal portion, and the postcentral gyrus, which is on the posterior portion. And then we have the frontal lobe, the two parietal bone lobes, which are on both sides, the temporal lobe, the occipital lobe, which is behind here. Then we have the lateral sulcus, which separates the temporal lobe from the parietal lobe. And we have the parieto-occipital sulcus, which separates the occipital lobe from the parietal lobe. And then we have the transverse cerebral fissure, which separates the occipital lobe from the cerebellum.
I'm going to be showing you some more of the internal structures of the sheep brain. We've dissected this through the longitudinal fissure. The back portion is the cerebellum. The cerebellum, also known as the little brain. Inside the cerebellum, when we open it up, we have the white matter, which is called the arbor vitae, or the tree of life. Turning it over on the back, we have the pons, the medulla oblongata, going back to the internal, we have the thalamus, below it the hypothalamus, we have the corpus callosum, below that the fornix. I'm going to open this up and we're going to see the lateral ventricle. That is where the cerebral spinal fluid starts to flow through the brain.
I'm going to be doing the nerves. The olfactory nerve is right here, and the optic nerve is right here, these things pointing out here. And where it the nerve crisscrosses in the middle right here, it's the olfactory chiasma, right in there. And this part right here that can flap up and down, that's the pituitary. And underneath the pituitary, right in there, that is the infundibulum, right there. Then, the trochlear nerve is right there. It's kind of hard to see. And the trigeminal nerve is this one right here. See that right there? And the abducneus nerve is right there. Right there. And then the vagus nerve is that big one right on the side here. See it?